Most riders go to the track on race day and just wing it. They roll around the track a few times, they might do some stretches they saw someone else do, but they've got no structure or no plan, and that can actually be one of the biggest reasons why you struggle in that first or second moto. So today, I'm gonna break down a warm-up plan you can use at every single race you go to that's gonna get you prepared and get the track dialed in so you're ready to go out there and smash your laps. Let's get into it. First things first, a good warm-up starts before we even get on the bike. And let me break that down. A lot of the time we get to the track and we see people, they go, they set up, they sit down, they wait for practice, and then they start warming up once their practice block starts. But I wanna bring this back 15 minutes. We have to start our warm-up block before we get on the track, because when we're at big events like the national titles and the world championships, our 1 hour warm-up blocks are so important. So we want to make sure before the track even opens that our legs are warm and we're ready to go. Something simple I do before I ride every time, this is before practice, before motos, I just do 10 leg swings forward each leg, 10 side leg swings each leg. I go and hold a fence and do 10 bodyweight squats and then maybe some lunges. That way my legs are engaged and ready to go and my body's warm. When the track opens, the main issue people have is people go to the track to ride and that's all they do, they just ride. There's no structure, there's no plan, there's no guideline. They have nothing to work on. They go lap after lap and they just hope the track is dialed in. And the riders who do well, they have a system they follow. They treat every single run with a different purpose to make sure by the end of their hour of riding, they've dialed in the last straight, the third straight, second straight, and the gate and first straight. Make sure we have the track dialed in because that 1 hour block is so important. Your first run on the track of the day should not be a fast run. I would highly recommend go out there at about 50%, and our first lap is our information lap. So let me explain that. When we do our first lap, we want to ride down the 4 straights at about half pace, bit under maybe, and we use this information lap and we want to note down in our minds the things that could be hard, like the first turn, super open. I might get bombed here in a race. The second straight's doubles quite deep. The last straight has a weird step down on it. We need to make sure we have all of the information recorded in our heads that when we go into our actual efforts, we have an idea of what's going to be hard and we can go out there and smash our runs. And now, this part's where most riders make the mistake. They've done their 1 warm-up lap and then they normally go to the gate and just rip gate, but they forget about dialing in the last second, third, and fourth straight. So I'm gonna give you a system I use. We're using the backwards approach. So I want you to start with the last straight, roll around the first 3 straights nice and slow, then do a last straight fast. Then your next lap, roll the first 2 slow, do a third straight fast, then same with the second straight. Then that way, after you've done your laps, you've ridden around the whole track multiple times and you've ridden every single straight fast, so you can have an idea of what's hard, what's easy, what straights are gonna be fast to pass on, and then you're ready to go and dial in those straights. And then once you've gone through and ridden those straights during the backwards approach, we wanna make sure we have a think to ourselves before we go to the next lap, have we got all the straights dialed? What straights are hard? For example, if you've had a hard time with the third straight, there's a hard manual, go and do the third straight again because you want to dial the straights in because the straights are so important. So make sure we go and have every single section of the track dialed in. Using the method of the last year, the KISS method, keep it super simple. Make sure the straights are simple, dialed, and fast. Then once the track's dialed, then we can move on to our gates. And this might be a bit against the norm, but I think every single person wants to do gates first because gates are familiar and easy. So once we've done the backwards approach and the first lap, then we move on to our gates. And the reason I put gates at the end is because the gate's the same everywhere. It might be a bit slower, might be a different size, but at the end of the day, it's the exact same technique, the exact same thing. And after you've done your warm-up lap, then your 4-3-2 runs, you've ridden that first straight so many times. That way, once your gates start, your first straight is ready to start being dialed in. So then, after the tracks are fully dialed, move on to your gates, do a few gates, get that gate and first straight dialed in. Then we are ready to go on the track and we're ready to race. And there's gonna be no more second guessing and no more mistakes on the track because you've done a proper warm up and you're ready to go. So there it is. We wanna make sure we warm up before we're on the track. We wanna make sure our first lap's a nice roll lap. Then we use the backwards approach where we go through the 4 straight onwards. Then we do our gates. And by the time we're done our gates, we're gonna have the track dialed in and you're gonna be going so fast and being so smooth. People are like, what the heck, how is he to dial the track in so fast? But is because you train with an actual approach rather than just randomly guessing it. Make sure you comment and let me know any more videos you want me to make, because I am more than happy for suggestions. And if you want some direct help from me, DM me on Instagram and we can figure that out. Peace out. We'll see you next one. Let's go.